Good night, everyone, for joining the CNFO Leadership Institute. We are happy to have you here. Mitch facilitated the first two modules, and I will offer some assistance with this module 3, which is financial operations. And of course, we are offering these modules, 4 of them, under the capacity building in fisheries evidence, networks, and management in the Virgin Islands project that we are collaborating with CANARI and other partners. So let's get straight into it so that we can conclude for the scheduled time. So we are going to look at financial management, financial planning, financial systems, and financial reporting. So we shouldn't take too long on these 4 subtopics. We need to know what is financial management. If you have the capability, maybe you can type in the chat any word that comes to your mind when you hear the term financial management. I'll ask Melanie to monitor the chat in case anyone is able to type. So financial management, words that would come to mind would be planning the monies, organizing your money, directing and controlling the financial activities, such as procurement. So you're going to procure your equipment, purchase, supplies, and also how you're going to use this money for your organization. It involves applying general management principles to the financial resources of the organization. So again, the words that pop to your mind when we speak about financial management: planning, organizing, and how you're going to utilize the monies. It is very important. It is a very important activity within your organization, because you need to have a process of planning, organizing, controlling, and monitoring financial resources. And the fact that we are controlling these resources, it is to achieve the goals and the objectives that we have set out. So you have a national fisherfolk organization. What are our goals? What are our objectives? One maybe could be representing the fisherfolk in the Virgin Islands. All right, very good. So you will have a budget item for travel, because if you're going to represent, you have to sit down in meetings and another forum to represent adequately. And then this has financial implications. We need monies to perhaps travel to another location to participate in a meeting. So it is ideal practice for controlling the financial activities of your organization. And we said when you're going to purchase things for the office, how you're going to use the money, we need our accounting system, how we're going to make payments. There's also a risk assessment, and every other thing related to money is under the topic financial management. Okay, so the next slide is about planning for financial success. I mean, even in our lives, our personal life, this sounds good. So if we can do this for the organization, if we can do this for ourselves, it is a good achievement. We can plan for financial success. So this means that we have to know how to manage our finances. It says that there are several options that one can use for managing their finances. So if you're good with money, or maybe you go on YouTube or other search and you can find help on how to manage your own money, and you practice budgeting and so on. That is one way. And for an organization, perhaps one of the fisher folk has accounting background, or maybe you have associate members, a family member, or someone that can volunteer to assist with the accounting system. So maybe you can do it on your own internally. If it's not possible, if you don't have the skills, the accounting skills and experience to run the office, then it's possible for you to hire someone to manage the financial aspects of the organization. And this person can be hired full-time and come in the office every day, or work from home in this modern time every day on the accounts for your organization. But you can also have a part-time accountant, or you can have a third party, and this person or this group of people, they will be in charge of managing your financial related activities. And so you will need a chartered accountant, and that person does not have to be with you every day full time, but definitely if you cannot manage it on your own, you will need to find a way of overcoming that, and perhaps hiring, if money allows for you to have some kind of accountant, because it's very important. And then it says financial management requires the attention of leadership. So you're not going to be working in isolation, just the accountant. The leadership, the executive body, the board, they have to be in tune and understand and pay attention to the finances of the organization. It also requires resources. First of all, I think that's a good paying job, an accountant. So firstly, you need money to even hire that part-time or full-time person. So the entire aspect of financial management, you will need different resources. Resources can be financial, human, as we stated, some software, depending on the type of system that you set up. You might need to purchase QuickBooks or something bigger, or maybe just Excel equipment for conducting the work, and so on. And it requires planning. So let's look at what is financial planning. Financial planning, and again, I know you did not type when I asked what is financial management, what words come to mind. If you have any words that come to mind when we speak about financial planning, you can use the chat box to just type one word. Financial planning. This is a procedure of confining an organization's target, policies, techniques, projects, and budget plans with respect to the financial activities, and it lasts for a longer duration. So we're planning for an extended time. This guarantees viable and satisfactory financial investment policies. Financial planning is also the process of estimating the capital required and determining its competition. It is the process of framing financial policies in relation to procurement, investment, and administration of funds of an enterprise. This last bullet says that financial planning is the task of determining how an organization will afford to achieve its strategic goals and objectives. So we have set out our goals and our objectives, and now we have to plan to see how can we achieve this financially, just like we do in our home. We have our obligations, our responsibilities, and we plan how we are going to meet those financially. How are we going to pay our bills that we have due? Just like in the organization, you will have, if you have a physical building and it's not necessary, that will come with bills, that the same type of bills that you have, home utility bills. And so we have to plan and have all these things running and no money to pay staff, to pay the part-time or full-time accountant, to pay for the light, and to pay for the travel to represent and do the other work. So we have to plan. We have to plan. We have to plan. And so the importance of financial planning, we have 6 thoughts here. So if we have adequate funds, we need adequate funds, have to be insured. Financial planning helps in ensuring a reasonable balance between outflow and inflow of funds so that stability is maintained. So we don't want to go in the red. We have to make sure we have foresight and balance the accounts so that we do not spend more than we earn or we bring into the organization. So if we plan well, then with the budget okay, and maybe things could run smoothly, hopefully, if it's properly planned. The third bullet we're going to look at, financial planning ensures that the suppliers of funds are easily investing in companies that exercise financial planning. So we have one example of searching for funding, of course, and in so doing, the grant agency, they have a lot of requirements, and they're asking us to show our annual budget and a long list of financial requirements that particular, I mean, this is the first time I'm seeing this long, extensive list of things beyond your audit, beyond your budget. They want to ensure that you have proper planning and proper procedures in place before they can allow for you to receive funding from them. And so it's very important when you're looking for grants to ensure that you have much of what we are talking about and even more to satisfy the requirements of some of these donors. The fourth bullet is financial planning helps in making growth and expansion programs, which helps in long run survival of the organization. So if we're planning, we could extend our programs because we see that we have a surplus of funding. Maybe a kind charity organization gave us some extra funds to do more, so we can plan and we can go further if we're planning. Financial planning reduces uncertainties with regards to changing market trends, which can be faced easily through enough funds, not having enough funds. Like, for example, you will have your staff, you want to make them feel comfortable, so we have to ensure we have enough funding in the account to pay our salaries and all our objectives, our goals, our activities. And if we are planning and we have the money, we continue planning, then you feel more comfortable. But if we don't have a plan in place that we are going to fundraise, or we are going to, whatever we are going to do, if we don't have a plan, then you feel uncertain, like where the next money will come from for us to do what we need to do. So planning is very important. And finally, financial planning helps in reducing the uncertainties which can be a hindrance to growth of the organization. So these are reasons why we plan. And then we have a slide here. We have a slide here that says we have some key areas that we concentrate on when we are doing financial planning. We want to assess the business environment, confirm the business vision and objectives. What is our purpose? So we have to confirm this. Identify the types of resources needed to achieve these objectives. Like I said, we will have different kind of resources: human resources, financial resources, maybe materials, software, whatever it is. We need to find out what we need to reach where we want to go. And then we quantify the amount of resources. So labor, we will need the accountant in the office. We will need a secretary to help us. How much we are going to pay that person per week or per month. We need to know this so that we can create the budget to ensure that we have adequate funds to bring about our vision. Calculate the total cost of each type of resources, summarize the cost to create a budget, identify any risk and issues with the set budget. Because we could say that we are going to hunt for monies, but it's not guaranteed that we are going to be successful in our hunt. So then we have to identify risks and try to address them as they come along so that we can ensure that we are implementing a very rigid plan that will secure the organization's future so that we can continue to work for the fisher folk. And so there is a process that we have here, the financial planning process. First, we said it already, we need to have our goals. When it comes to financial, we will have financial goals. We'll have planning, time, period. And then we're going to pull together any relevant documents and account statements that paint a picture of our current financial situation. Then we're going to create a short and long-term plan to reach your financial goal, reaching forward to your goals and objectives. Begin putting your financial plan in practice. So you will need to know how we are going to do this and who will do it. And adjust your financial plan as your life goals change. So as the organization objectives, activities, needs changes, we can change the plan as well to match it. So when we're implementing this plan, we need the who, the how, the what. The who we need to hire. Are we going to use people from our executive? Are we going to use from our board? Or we need to hire? How? Part-time versus full-time. Written statements. Monitoring evaluation. and adaptation. And with what resources? We spoke about resources. Of course, especially when it comes to finances, especially we have to get proper systems in place to monitor and evaluate, because we know how money go. Just like when we have our own money, it just goes so easy. It's slide through our hands. So we have to ensure we have good systems and we have to be transparent. So I believe this would be an ideal example of how we operate within the CNFO. You report, in our case, it would be an executive. We also have a board. We report monthly to the board, and then you have a wider membership. Even the membership, they need to be on board to know that we are surviving financially. And if we're not, it is very most important to have them know so that they can help with ideas. But you can report to your membership maybe quarterly. And of course, we in the CNFO, we have an audit, and that would be annually. And whatever other legal requirements that is necessary for the Virgin Islands, because when you register, then it comes with some stipulations and perhaps there are financial ones. So whatever requirements you have, and then we have to abide by those, and for us, we do the audit annually. So I don't have much slides to present after this. These are examples that I have extracted for you to understand an example of a financial system. And this came straight from our policy and procedure manual of the CNFO. So I would just like to share that with you as an example. And this is what our board, the information in this procedure came from our board with them endorsing it because it was their systems that were developed together as a group. So item 5 in this manual speaks to funding and financial management. And then I will read this because then you can get some examples of what you need to put in place when you're setting up your financial system in your organization. So for us, first of all, you have to establish your financial year, your fiscal year. And for us in the CNFO, it's the calendar year. It's from 1st of January to the 31st of December. And we have a clause here that says that we use checks as much as possible to do our transactions. Then, you know, that would give good accountability and paper trace. And then we have 2 signatures on our checks for amounts not exceeding $10,000. And these we have here in this document says that, so for an example for you could be that your signatories could be your executive chair and your treasurer. Those would be 2 suitable people to sign on your checks. And then for amounts over 10,000, we have a clause here that says 10,000 and over, there is a need for 3 signatures, which would include now the chair, the treasurer, and the general secretary. So these people are from the executive and would be the persons responsible for signing checks. A maximum of 3 signatures is required, but in the case of a 4th signature, if that is ever needed, then that person would be the deputy chair. So that's like an example of how you can operate your banking arrangement. And then we speak about funding agreements. And in 5.2, these would be your agreements that you have with partners. For example, if you see a call for a proposal from FAO, FAO of the United Nations, you find someone in-house, or maybe you have to hire a consultant and they write up a proposal to try and access 50,000 US dollars, and you will have a grant agreement. So that is what is considered funding agreements. Indirect costs are associated with running the office. So it could mean like you're going to buy your stationery, pen, whatever you need, building maintenance, and miscellaneous items. Those are indirect costs. Fundraising, sponsorship, and donation. This paragraph speaks to having a person designated to do this. So maybe somebody, again, maybe in-house or hired full-time or part-time, will assist the executive to fundraise. And then we had a sentence here, the last sentence, that said that it was a recommendation, I guess, from one of our board members, because we need to create sustainability, financial sustainability. You can't always depend on grant funding. And so that's what one of our gaps that our board members saw when we were producing this document. And so the recommendation came that perhaps members can contribute to the organization. But we know that you don't always have monies laying around that you can contribute, no matter how small. Many of our fisherfolk organizations are struggling and they themselves need help. But then they were persistent that they want to see the CNFO maintains its identity and its financial sustainability. So that this recommendation came that even if you don't have money, in June, when it's, I don't know if you're celebrating with Virgin Island, but 29th of June is Caribbean Fisherfolk Day. And so many of us celebrate fisherfolk. And so this idea was for them to have some fundraising nationally, and whatever they raise, they give a portion to the CNFO as like a payment, a due, a membership fee. But it's not a requirement and we have not implemented that, but that was just an idea. And then so this document speaks to resource mobilization strategies. And let's see what it has here in these 2 paragraphs that we can learn from. So it says here that the funding priorities and the gaps should be identified by the executive. And so the executive would report this quarterly. We need to maintain partnership with organizations that can serve as a source of funding. So if we have started to build, so we need to network. If we have started to build relationships with groups that provide funding, we have to strengthen that relationship and that partnership so that we can have a better chance, a better opportunity of receiving some grant funding, because we need finances. We need finances to operate an organization. And the resource mobilization strategies should be focused on supporting your goals and your objectives So I mean, like if you need a door for your house, you know, and take the organization money, go try and do other work or other objectives. It is specifically for the organization to keep it moving forward. And all resources are monitored and accounted for by the treasurer. So this is how we are operating or should operate in the CNFO as it is in our manual. And then the executive should develop a midterm resource mobilization strategy and plan. So we need this plan. We're speaking about this plan. It's very important so that we can attract technical financial support to implement our activities. The first thing donors or partners will ask is what is it you want to achieve? What is your plan? And you have to have some plan in place that you can incorporate in a proposal to try and solicit funds to operate. The executive should also identify and target national, regional, global organizations which are potentially interested in providing support and support and cooperating with fisherfolk organization in the Caribbean. So then you don't just think nationally, how they say, you don't just think locally, you also think globally. So you find global friends, you find regional friends that can assist you with achieving your goals. And of course, Mitch has said it over the last 2 modules, we are here to provide any support that is in our capacity to assist you and also share with you other partners in the region that can provide at least technical support, if nothing else. And of course, we spoke about the audit. So this is our rule of law that we should have an audit no later than the end of March. And we have an annual budget and we present it for approval. And the treasurer is in charge of keeping all of this in place, which we actually do at this moment, and which would have evaluate actual budget outcomes against approved budget allocation. So this is just an example of some of the systems that you can have in place when it comes to financial planning in your organization. Oh, and there is more. So you have your signatories, you have financial statements, even a petty cash system. Petty cash is like the liquid cash you keep in the office to go and purchase small items day to day. And that's it. That's it. That's all I have to share on this from this manual. And then I have 2 more slides. But I have a thing that says draw. How do I take this off? I'm not sure. 1 second. Let me see. Yeah, so I have 2 more slides. And again, it's example for you. This one is, it's 2 examples. When we talk about financial, the 4th topic is financial reporting. And so we spoke about the audit. So this would be the statement the actual statement that we received from our auditor in regards to our audit. And so in this certified public accountant view, the following financial statement presents fairly in all material respect the financial position of the CNFO as of the end of 2020. So this was an audit done in 2020 for 2020. And of its financial performance and cash flow for the years then ending in accordance with international financial reporting standards for small and medium-sized entities. So this is an example of our audit. the letter from the auditor, actually. And in terms of reporting, another example, this is the real template for FAO. But this is the numbers and the words here are not factual, just invented for the purpose of this presentation. But this is how the template would look if you're getting a funding from FAO, for example, and you have to report a narrative and a financial. And the financial, they would send you a template like this, and you fill out in an Excel form. So I don't know if you can type. I know nobody's typing, maybe, or maybe not. All right, nobody's typing, so that's not working. But if you, I don't know if you could use the feature to raise your hand. I just want to know your capabilities. If you are aware of Excel and if you know how to use Excel, if you can raise your hand or say, yes, I can, or no, or type in the chat, no, I don't know about Excel. Then that would just help, help us to know better your level of
Yeah,
experience.
so if you have experience with Excel and doing, okay, Christina said yes in the chat. Any others? Yes, no?
Yeah, Brent says yes as well.
Okay.
Perfect.
Ken said yes.
So, yeah. So you would need to fill out the financial form in Excel because that's where the template comes from. And you would just have to put in like how much days the consultant will work, how much monies per day. This is fictitious. Then you need a total. So example, and for example, you go on and just like that. And if you know in each cell there, they might send it with formulas already for you. So you just have to put in figures and then the formulas tabulate and calculate for you. So this is another financial report. This is what we have to do with our partners when we receive funding from them. And I didn't do any other examples, but we have other things that we can share with you in the future regarding controlling and managing and planning financially for your organization. So I will pause here. I will stop sharing. And I will come back to you. So I'm doing a time check. We have about we have about 30 more minutes. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. All right, good. Any questions? Any comment? Any observations? Do we have anybody here with us?
Yeah, everybody here.
Right here.
All right, good. I am here. All right. So for the thanks. So for the purpose of having a record of the presentation, I have recorded the portion that I have presented, and I want to test something. So I will take notes from this point on and I will stop the recording.